Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me live, people who are live here with me, and for everyone who will be joining me later as well. Hi, nice to see you back. If it's the first time that we're meeting, my name is Isabel Martins from healthandnaturallife.com, and I work with energy and consciousness. That's my passion, and pretty much helping us understand better our energy, how to feel it, how to be aware of it, how to use it to deliberately come back into wholeness and live the life that we feel that it is our heart and soul's desire to live. And this in my work specifically looks a lot sometimes like energy clearing, animal communication, or communication with all types of consciousness and being aware of the underlying energy dynamics underneath our everyday life. And this is something that I want to talk about today, that I wanted to share with you because it's something that happened to me last Saturday, in the afternoon, right after the video that I shared on people pleasing and guilt and self-love, the connection in between all those things. My consciousness, my broader consciousness, just served me an opportunity to walk my talk on a beautiful golden tray. And I want to share a little bit of that with you because it might be, well, might give you some ideas on how to navigate life when things that look like curveballs are thrown your way. So things that don't turn out as you expect, or things that just turn out in ways that you are surprised, or things that you never even expected out of the blue, which was what happened to me. So I'll give you a little bit of context because this made it easier, I think, for me to be aware that something bigger was happening. So I did the Facebook Live last Saturday morning talking about people pleasing and why guilt that we learn how to embody from our very early years then turns into a need to comply with other people, a need to have them validate us, a need to feel loved, accepted, and please people in order to get that attention from the horizontal level because we're not connected vertically to our own source of power. So that was what I did in the morning. Come the afternoon, I was talking with a friend, Bob, and we're talking about some books, messaging about books that we were reading, and the Seth materials came to the conversation. Seth materials, if you're familiar with them, or if you're not familiar with them, are Jane Roberts' books that she was receiving, a non-physical entity, that she was sharing knowledge from that non-physical being, almost like Abraham Hicks, which is probably better known these days. So I was reading some of that stuff from Seth. I got really interested in what they were saying because it felt that the way that creation and reality was explained felt very in line with the way that I feel and know things intuitively to be the case. So I was messaging and I was listening to an excerpt from a session that Jane Roberts was doing, and it was from an explanation on how the pyramids in Egypt had been created using sound. I was listening to it and just messaging, and I felt at some point that my energy started to do something. So I was feeling almost like there was a whirlwind around me, and I was feeling a lot of pressure coming in from the outside, and I was feeling a lot of pressure as well, almost like a tornado fire on top of my head. And I was my old self, which is more like a street cat self, just immediately went, what the hell is happening here? I'm not accepting interferences, and I do not like to be forced into anything. So I was just projecting that out into whatever it was that was happening. But very shortly after that, I just felt that no, there's nothing really, there's no interference here. So I tuned in internally, like the technique that I shared with you and the intuition video a few weeks ago. I tuned in and just, that's okay. So is this interference from an outside source? No, it came up as a no. So is this any sort of an activation of my energy, an expansion of burning off of something, a transmutation? And the answer came as yes, that's the case. Okay, if that's the case, hands off. I'm not going to fight it or resist it, which is never a good idea, but I still do it. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to fight it, not going to resist it. I'm just going to go outside for a walk. It was a lovely summer day, pretty much in nature, just a little walk and come back home. So I did. And when I came back home, I was logging into Facebook again to see if Bob had messaged something back because the conversation wasn't over yet. And Facebook pretty much had cancelled my account. No explanations, no ifs, no whens, no buts, nothing. It's just your account was deactivated because it doesn't comply with community standards. Like, what the hell is this all about? This account that I use is an account that I use both for personal purposes as well as for my work. So it has implications. It had implications for it to be cancelled. But I did have another account, a Portuguese account that I started many years ago to connect with primary school friends, actually, kindergarten almost. And from that account, I messaged my closest friends and I said, okay, my account was cancelled. I'm going to use this one and I'll see what I can do to actually bring everyone and the work that I've done over almost 6 years now in this account, my work and personal account that was my active account, and bring everything to this one that had been pretty much in stasis for a very long time. That was the facts. Internally, I was thinking, this is weird. Things like this don't happen anymore in my life. And what I mean by that is, excuse me, nothing is random. When something happens in my life, I know that there's a broader picture for me to look at. There's something either for me to come back into wholeness, or there's another level that I'm being called to step up to. And in this case, and usually it's both actually, in this case I knew that it was something so random, so out of the blue, seemingly, that I wasn't even fazed by it. I was more curious. But after doing my due diligences to let everyone know what was happening, that's when my energy awareness started, the work started. So I just shut everything off and just sat and just started going through the energetics of the situation to try to figure out what was causing this, what was the golden nugget at the core of it, what was causing and what was that it was calling me towards. So I just asked myself, okay, so how do I feel about this? And after all the hype, after all the frantic, okay, let's say this, I just settled and just felt, okay, so what came up was a very, I would say, natural feeling of sadness. There was anger, there was frustration, there was disappointment, there was betrayal. There were all those emotions. I was just feeling them, because what else can you do? If you push them down, you're just going to create more, and something else will have to hit those points in you again so that they can be accepted, seen, felt and allowed to move through. So I was feeling through that, letting everything just move through me. Again, like I shared in other videos as well, focus on the body, focusing on the sensations, not going into stories, not going to head, not going to rationalizing, just fully being with the sensations and relaxing my body, breathing through the tougher resistance, the tougher tension, but just as best I could, softening my body, relaxing, allowing, unresisting the flow of energy, the uncomfortable feelings and sensations that I was feeling. And as these things were flowing through, there were other things that I had wanted to do in my active account in terms of work that I didn't know how. And with all that energy moving through, ideas actually started coming. And those ideas actually I'm going to implement today, because it just was an opening in creativity from that energy that was pushed down. As it was starting to be released, new ideas, new avenues, new things were surging. So that was bonus number one. Then after feeling into that, I just tuned, okay, so how do I feel about Facebook itself? And yeah, that was a lot there as well. There was a lot of mistrust, a little bit of resentment stuff. Again, that was very unappreciative on my side. And yeah, it made Facebook the perfect co-creator for this as well. So I was feeling to that, allowing it to flow through again until I felt that I came into a more neutral place where I could actually just enjoy the platform, not be owned by it, but just enjoy it for what it offered me. And then I came to what was really the core of this all for me. And it was that, okay, now I'm going to start using my Portuguese account. And a huge amount of resistance came up right there. And that was the type of resistance that I was trying to escape. I did not want to feel it. My mind was coming up with ways to distract me, like, I'm hungry, let's go eat something. I was tuning in, no, I'm not really hungry, so interesting. No, let's go watch TV. I don't watch TV that much. No, let's just go read something. And I was like, okay, what the heck? What's happening here? What am I trying to avoid feeling? And it just started coming up, because when you asked that question, as I asked, we are opening a window for things to start flowing out. The things that we didn't want to look at before, we're actually inviting them into our awareness. So what started coming up was that I was very resistant to have people that have known me in my mechanical engineer days. So my friends from engineering school, my friends from jobs that I had in engineering as an engineer, all of them, they have an image and a version of me that is not the person that I am now, and haven't been for quite a few years. I did not want them to know what I was doing because of that fear that I actually shared on last week's video on people pleasing. And it was the fear that was coming from my ego of losing their esteem. So, because coming from mechanical engineering, working with energy and consciousness, it's a 180 shift almost. Well, not if you look at it from my perspective, but for most people it would be. It's a very rational, mind-driven work as a mechanical engineer, and then it's a very intuitive, very feeling sense, very attuned with nature work, the one that I'm doing now. And I did not want to deal with that loss of esteem that I was projecting very unfairly, I must say, towards them, that they would judge me, that they would think that I had gone off the deep end, would have gone crazy and just not even going there anymore. So they wouldn't even want to engage or interact with me. So again, very unfair, very unrealistic, but that's how our mind and our ego works sometimes. So I was tuning into that, and that was my real work, was to allow all of that resistance, because I have kept for 5+ years. I saw it in that point. I have kept two separate lives. My Portuguese life, where pretty much I don't have contact with the people that I had before in my life that still know the engineer version of me. And then I have my other life, my current state of being, where I have contacts all over the world, and they know me as the me that I am now, but they don't know also the the engineer part, although it always comes through, because yeah, it is part of my history. But I had segregated my Portuguese connections pretty much, and again, very unfairly, feeling a little bit guilty about that, so still something that I have to feel through. And I did not want them to know what I was doing. And this was a very big split in my energy. And for me to actually be my full self, be enlivened by what I do, share it on a full, open, transparent basis with everyone, and actually to be able to really embody my power and to own it and share whatever comes through inspiration and be whoever I want to be in the world, I couldn't have those two separate currents. I couldn't have a split within myself. It all had to be merged again back into one. So at that point, I knew that all of this that had happened for me, it was about transparency. I had to make a choice. I didn't have to become transparent. And I did see that pivotal moment as well. It felt very much, and I did see it rationally. I have a choice now. I can either create a new account and start bringing my contacts, my international contacts and my work to that one and keep the Portuguese account, or I can let the two merge and just have one account, one life, one voice, one energy stream. And I did tune into both because that was the level of discomfort that I was in. I still did not want to look at it, but just felt that, okay, I have made a decision in my life, and that decision is for wholeness, for being one, for transparency. And that decision only leaves me really one choice, and that is to bring everything into one stream. And the stream in this case was being exemplified by one Facebook account, with everyone knowing everything that I'm doing, not necessarily in personal terms because I'm still a private person, but in work related terms, it would be open field for everyone to see. And again, whoever was interested would tune into it. Whoever was not, of course, would not be interested and would not tune into it. But my ego, and I would say this is an ego thing as a general, was very much in that, no, they will all tune in, they will all judge me, they will all whatever. It's just completely unrealistic and blowing things out of proportion. So I made that decision. Everything is going to be done from this account. Full transparency. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to try to push it down or to keep two separate lives. It's just going to be one complete whole stream. And I did that. I started bringing people to my Portuguese account. And after that, the following day, and this was on Monday, Facebook just reactivated my international, let's call it that, account again. I was like, hey, happy. At least all my work wasn't lost and it was all there. I had, however, already made that decision. So I had completely cleared any resistance that I had to my Facebook account being deleted. I had made the decision already. I am going for transparency. I am going for one whole stream of energy. So everything was okay, even if I just had one account. Facebook, after that, and this are things work without resistance, things find the path of least resistance. So that account, the international account, got activated again. And now I was just waiting to see if this reactivation was actually going to hold. It's still active, so I'm now going to invite everyone from my Portuguese account to this international account, and I'm going to deactivate the Portuguese one because I usually don't use it. So it went from, no, I can't have everyone knowing what I'm doing, to, oh, heck, you're not going to take that freedom away from me anymore. Everyone that wants to come is coming in. And that's pretty much what I did. And this was how an outside circumstance that was seen and probably was felt by some people as something unfair and jarring and coming out of the blue, for me, it was a huge gift. It was a gift in showing me how actually we create by energy. I did have that initial swirl of my energy, letting me know that, oh, something's up. I'm up leveling for something. And right on the heels of that, Facebook so saying, ta-da, here you go, your account got cancelled. And I saw how releasing resistance to everything, making a decision, making a choice for wholeness, for transparency, for being true to my truth, everything worked itself out. I came on the other side feeling more creative, feeling more whole, feeling more free, and with new ideas actually to implement now that will help even more with my work. And everything just settled into a new level of normal, let's put it like that. So it's not the old normal that was segregated here, it's the new normal now that's at this level, and from this platform I have a lot more options available to me that I don't even know them now, but I have stepped into that by not resisting the event itself, by feeling into whatever was coming up for me energetically, emotionally, and just allowing the energy to flow through, unresisting it all, asking, okay, so what am I feeling? What am I trying to avoid feeling? What does this mean to me? What is the meaning that I'm making out of this? And let me just dissolve that meaning as well, so I can let the energy flow. And making a choice for wherever choice is needed to be made. I want something that leads to my greater wholeness and to my greater expression and expansion, and everything that I'm doing align with my truth. This is how I navigated this little. It is little, but it did have consequences to it. But yeah, this is how I navigated this impromptu opportunity from life. So it would have been seen as a curveball, something unfair thrown at me from the outside, but no, nothing happens like that anymore. Everything that happens in our lives is for us. It's just a matter of us unresisting it, looking, asking, inquiring, releasing whatever comes up, and getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to the core of it. And usually the core of it is where we have the most resistance. That, if we allow ourselves to feel into it, that's where our gold is. That's what we can then bring forth and just enjoy coming out the other side of it stronger, healthier, more whole, and with an opening in our lives that we didn't have before. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope this was helpful in some way, and I'm still looking forward to see what else comes out of this. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, suggestions, interact with the video as you want. Like, comment. YouTube loves those things. So if nothing else, just much love to you, and I'll see you on the next video.